Tonight, we're going to journey back in time, not to the clamor of ancient battles or the intrigue of royal courts, but to a quieter, more personal aspect of one of history's most fascinating civilizations, ancient Egypt. Picture, if you will, the gentle flow of the Nile, the warm desert breeze rustling through papyrus reed, and the soft glow of oil lamps illuminating intricate frames. We are going to explore the world of ancient Egyptian beauty, not as a fleeting vanity, but as a profound and integral part of their daily lives, their spiritual beliefs, and their very understanding of well-being. This wasn't just about looking good. It was about health, hygiene, protection, and even about preparing for eternity. So, let's settle in. Let your mind drift, and allow the serene whispers of the past to envelop you as we uncover the secrets of a civilization that truly mastered the art of gentle suffering. For the ancient Egyptians, beauty was far more than skin deep. It was deeply intertwined with their religious beliefs, their concept of cosmic order, or mat, and their aspirations for the afterlife. To be beautiful was to be clean, healthy, and ritually pure, qualities essential for pleasing the gods and ensuring a smooth transition into the field of reeds, their version of paradise. Imagine a world where every morning ritual, every application of coal or scented oil carried a subtle echo of spiritual significance. It wasn't just about personal appeal, it was about presenting a perfected self, both to the living and to the divine. Consider the harsh realities of their environment. The scorching sun, the dry desert winds, and the ever-present fine sand meant that the body was constantly exposed to elements that could cause damage and discomfort. Beauty practices, therefore, weren't simply aesthetic. They were fundamentally protective. They were about safeguarding the skin from the relentless sun, soothing irritation, and maintaining hygiene in a world without modern sanitation. Imagine the relief of a cooling oil applied to sun-baked skin, or the protective barrier of kohl around the eyes, warding off both glare and insects. The Egyptians believed the human body was a vessel, a sacred entity, and maintaining its integrity and beauty was a form of respect for the gods who created it. This philosophy extended to all aspects of life, from the elaborate rituals of mummification designed to preserve the body for eternity, to the daily meticulous routines of washing and adornment. Every individual, from the pharaoh to the humblest laborer, engaged in some form of personal grooming, albeit with varying degrees of luxury and sophistication. Even the depiction of humans in Egyptian art reflects this ideal of perfected beauty. Figures are often shown with idealized proportions, smooth skin, and striking, almond-shaped eyes, adorned with kohl. This wasn't merely artistic convention. It was a visual representation of their cultural value placed on youthfulness, vitality, and a serene, almost divine, appearance. Imagine gazing upon these ancient images, absorbing the calm elegance they portray, and understanding that these were not just fantasies, but reflections of deep-seated beliefs about what it meant to be truly well and truly beautiful. So, as we explored their specific beauty secrets, remember that each step, each ingredient, each tool carried a weight of meaning beyond superficial appeal. It was a holistic approach, where external beauty was seen as a reflection of internal purity and a vital component of spiritual readiness. This ancient understanding of self-care, where health, hygiene, and spiritual well-being converged, offers a soothing perspective on beauty, one that invites us to slow down, to appreciate the meticulousness of their approach, and perhaps even to find a sense of calm in their ancient rituals. Let us drift deeper into the world where beauty was a sacred art. Let us now gently delve into the very foundation of ancient Egyptian beauty, their meticulous approach to skincare. Imagine waking in a world without modern soaps or creams, where the fierce desert sun and fine, ever-present sand were constant challenges to delicate skin. For the Egyptians, skincare wasn't a luxury. It was a daily necessity, a preventative measure against the harsh environment and a crucial component of their overall hygiene and spiritual purity. Their routines, while seemingly simple by today's standards, were remarkably effective and deeply ingrained in their daily lives. The cornerstone of their skincare regimen was cleanliness. Daily washing was paramount, far beyond what might have been common in many other ancient civilizations. Imagine beginning each day with a thorough cleansing. Water, drawn from the life-giving Nile, was essential. They didn't use harsh chemical soaps. Instead, they relied on natural cleansers. One of the most common was natron, a naturally occurring salt mixture, a type of sodium carbonate found in dry lake. It was used in various forms, not just for mummification, but also as a powerful cleansing agent. Imagine a gentle paste made from natron, perhaps mixed with a little oil or water, applied to the skin, helping to lift away dirt, sweat, and impurities. Its slightly alkaline nature would have served as an effective beyond natron. They used simple, natural, finely ground alabaster or sand, mixed with oil or water, could have been used to gently slough off dead skin cells, promoting a smoother, brighter complexion. Imagine the soft, circular motions as they carefully removed the day's accumulation of dust and the weariness of the sun. This routine wasn't about aggressive scrubbing, but a gentle, methodical pure. After cleansing, moisturizing was absolutely crucial. The dry desert air would quickly dehydrate the skin, leading to cracks and discomfort. To combat this, ancient Egyptians relied heavily on a variety of natural oils and fats. Imagine the rich, emollient texture of moringa oil, extracted from the seeds of the moringa tree, known for its nourishing and protective properties. Or perhaps castor oil, readily available and deeply moisturizing. Olive oil, too, though less common than in some other Mediterranean cultures, might have been used. Animal fats, such as beef or goose fat, were also rendered and incorporated into creams for their occlusive properties, creating a protective barrier on the skin. These oils weren't just applied neat. They were often infused with fragrant resins, herbs, and flowers, transforming them into soothing, aromatic balms. Imagine the scent of frankincense or myrrh, not just for religious ceremonies, but subtly perfuming the skin, or perhaps the delicate aroma of lotus flower or lily, blended into a luxurious body oil. These botanical additions not only added pleasant fragrances, but also contributed their own beneficial properties, such as anti-inflammatory or antiseptic qualities. Imagine the subtle, earthy, yet sweet fragrance that would cling to their skin after such an application. A blend of nature's bounty. Sun protection was another vital aspect of their skincare. While they didn't have modern sunscreens, their makeup and skin preparations offered a degree of physical barrier protection. Ochre, a natural earth pigment ranging from yellow to red, was often mixed with oils and applied to the skin. This would have provided a visible tint, but also a physical block against some of the sun's harsh rays. Imagine the subtle reddish glow on their skin, not just for aesthetic appeal, but as a practical shield against the relentless glare. Beyond daily application, there's evidence of more intensive treatments. Facial masks were concocted from ingredients like honey, milk, and various plant extracts, all known for their nourishing and soothing properties. Honey, with its natural humectant and antiseptic qualities, would have been particularly beneficial for hydrating and healing the skin. Milk, rich in lactic acid, would have offered a gentle exfoliating effect, leaving the skin soft and smooth. Imagine the cool, comforting sensation of such a mask, left on the skin to work its gentle magic under the warm Egyptian sun. The application of these products was often accompanied by gentle massage, working the oils and creams deeply into the skin, stimulating circulation and promoting a healthy glow. Imagine the soothing rhythmic movements, designed not just for absorption but for relaxation, a moment of peaceful self-communion at the start or end of the day. This meticulous attention to skincare, rooted in both practical necessity and spiritual belief, laid the groundwork for all other beauty practices. It created a canvas of clean, hydrated, and protected skin, upon which other forms of adornment could be applied. Their understanding of basic skin physiology, even without modern scientific knowledge, was remarkably astute, emphasizing cleansing, moisturizing, and protection. It was a gentle, daily ritual of self-preservation, essential for thriving in their ancient world and preparing for the eternal one. Having explored the fundamental importance of skincare in ancient Egypt, let's now turn our gaze to perhaps the most iconic and enduring symbol of their beauty practices. Imagine the striking, elongated eyes depicted in countless frescoes and sculptures, outlined with a dark, enigmatic line that instantly transports you to the banks of the Nile. Kohl was far more than just decorative makeup. It was a potent blend of aesthetics, protection, and deep spiritual significance, woven into the very fabric of daily life for both men and women. The application of kohl was an almost ritualistic process. Imagine sitting patiently as a fine, dark powder was carefully applied around your eyes, using delicate tools. The kohl itself was typically made from galena, a lead sulfide mineral, which provided its characteristic black color. Sometimes, malachite was used, especially in earlier periods, or for specific ceremonial purposes, creating a vibrant green eye paint. These minerals were ground into incredibly fine powders, often on a stone palette, before being mixed with a base to form a paste. The base was usually a form of fat or oil, such as animal fat or moringa oil, which helped the powder adhere to the skin and ensured a smooth application. Imagine the subtle earthy scent of these natural minerals, mixed with the comforting aroma of oil. The primary tool for applying kohl was a small stick, often made of ivory, wood, or metal, with a blunt end. Imagine the delicate touch as the stick was dipped into the kohl paste and then gently drawn along the lash lines, both upper and lower, extending into a distinctive elongated line towards the temples. This signature Katai look was not just fashionable, it served multiple practical purposes. Firstly, and perhaps most importantly in their desert environment, kohl acted as a protective barrier for the eyes. Imagine the brilliant, often harsh glare of the Egyptian sun, intensified by the reflective desert sands. The dark pigment of kohl would have significantly reduced this glare, much like modern-day sunglasses. It minimized the discomfort of bright light and helped prevent eye strain. Think of it as ancient sun protection for the delicate eye area, a vital shield against the elements. Secondly, kohl offered a degree of protection against eye infections. The Nile Delta, while fertile, was also home to various insects, including flies, which could transmit diseases. The leading galena, when applied around the eyes, would have acted as a mild antibacterial agent, subtly stimulating the production of nitric oxide in the skin. This natural defense mechanism would have helped to ward off bacterial infections, a crucial benefit in a world without modern medicine. Imagine the gentle, cooling sensation as the kohl was applied, providing not just beauty, but a subtle shield against unseen dangers. Beyond the practical, the aesthetic appeal of kohl was undeniable. It dramatically enhanced the eyes, making them appear larger, more expressive, and more captivating. Imagine the striking contrast of the dark kohl against the often light skin tones, drawing immediate attention to the gaze. This made the eyes seem more alert, more vibrant, and more alive, even in the harsh desert light. This emphasis on the eyes was also deeply spiritual, as the eyes were considered windows to the soul and crucial for perception both in this life and the afterlife. Spiritually, the kohl line extending to the temples was believed to mimic the markings of the falcons, particularly Horus, the sky god associated with protection and kingship. By adorning their eyes with kohl, Egyptians invoked the protective power of the gods, symbolizing their connection to the divine. Imagine the subtle sense of security and spiritual alignment that came with applying this sacred pigment, a daily ritual that affirmed one's place within the cosmic order. Kohl was also used by all social classes, although the quality of the ingredients and the elaborateness of the containers would vary greatly. From the humblest peasant to the mightiest pharaoh, everyone sought to adorn their eyes. Imagine seeing laborers with their eyes simply outlined, perhaps with less refined kohl, while royalty would use finely ground pigments from exquisite palettes, stored in beautiful alabaster or faience pots. These containers, known as kohl pots or cosmetic jars, were often miniature works of art themselves, reflecting the value placed on their contents. Imagine holding one of these small, intricately designed vessels, feeling the cool smoothness of the stone, or the delicate patterns on the field. The act of applying kohl was a quiet, deliberate moment of self-adornment, a pause in the daily rhythm of life. It was a time to focus on the self, to engage in a practice that was both visually enhancing and symbolically significant. This universal practice, spanning millennia of Egyptian history, underscores the multifaceted role of beauty in their society, a blend of physical necessity, aesthetic, aspiration, and profound spiritual belief, all encapsulated in that iconic, dark line around the eye. From the mesmerizing gaze framed by kohl, let us now gently shift our focus upwards, to the elaborate and meticulously cared-for realm of ancient Egyptian hair. Imagine a society where hair, whether natural or artificial, was an elaborate statement of status, hygiene, and aesthetic preference, a canvas for intricate styling and fragrant adornment. The Egyptians' dedication to hair care, encompassing everything from elaborate wigs to nourishing oils, reveals another layer of their holistic approach to beauty and natural hair, for many Egyptians, especially those of lower classes, was often kept short or even shaved. This was largely a practical consideration in the hot, dusty climate. Imagine the comfort of a closely cropped head, free from the sweat and tangles that long hair could bring in such an environment. However, even short hair was kept meticulously clean, and often treated with oils to prevent dryness and maintain a healthy sheen. They understood the importance of a clean scalp, not just for appearance but for preventing infestations of lice and other parasites. A common problem in the ancient world. For those who chose to keep their natural hair, a wide array of treatments existed. They used combs made from wood or bone, carefully designed to detangle and smooth. Oils, similar to those used for skincare, moringa, castor, or even almond oil, were massaged into the scalp and hair, providing moisture, shine, and promoting growth. Imagine the soothing sensation of these rich oils being worked into the hair, their natural aromas gently rising. Henna, a natural dye derived from the Lawsonia inermis plant, was widely used to color hair, particularly to reddish-brown tones, and also to cover graying hair. Imagine the warm, earthy scent of henna as it was applied, transforming the hair with a subtle, natural hue. However, the true marvel of ancient Egyptian hair culture lay in their extensive use of wigs. Wigs were ubiquitous, worn by both men and women across various social strata, though the quality and elaborateness varied greatly. Imagine a society where almost everyone, from the humblest servant to the highest noble, owned at least one wig, and often many more for different occasions. Wigs offered several practical advantages. They protected the scalp from the sun, helped to prevent lice, and could be easily removed for cleaning, thus contributing to overall hygiene. But beyond practicality, wigs were powerful symbols of status and fashion. Imagine the sheer variety. Short, bobbed wigs for daily wear, long, cascading styles for formal occasions, and intricate, braided creations for elaborate ceremonies. These wigs were crafted with immense skill, often from human hair, but also from plant fibers, or even wool. The hair or fibers were meticulously braided or woven onto a mesh cap, creating a dense, lifelike appearance. Imagine the hours of painstaking work that went into creating such a wig, each strand carefully attached to achieve the desired volume and style. These wigs were then styled in an incredibly elaborate way. They could be crimped, curled, or plaited into intricate design. Imagine the precise sections, the delicate braids, and the perfectly symmetrical curls that characterized these ancient hairstyles. They were often adorned with gold rings, beads, ribbons, and even fresh flowers, adding an extra layer of luxury and visual appeal. For grand occasions, some wigs were so heavy and complex that they would have been uncomfortable, a testament to the lengths to which Egyptians would go for appearance. Perfumery played a crucial role in wig care as well. Cones of solidified perfumed fat, known as unguent cones, were often placed on top of wigs, particularly during banquets and festivities. Imagine these subtly fragrant cones, slowly melting in the warm air, releasing their aromatic oils down over the wig and shoulders, creating a gentle, continuous diffusion of perfume. This wasn't just for pleasant scent. It also added a luxurious sheen to the wig, further enhancing its visual appeal. The aroma would have been a blend of exotic resins like frankincense and myrrh, mixed with fragrant flowers such as lotus or lily. Hair removal was also a common practice, as smooth, hairless skin was considered a sign of purity and youth. While we will delve deeper into body care, it's worth noting here that practices like shaving and depilation contributed to the overall aesthetic of a clean, well-groomed appearance that extended from the scalp down to the toes. The meticulous attention to hair, whether natural or wig, reinforces the Egyptian commitment to a comprehensive approach to beauty. It wasn't about fleeting trends. It was about presenting a perfected, almost idealized self, suitable for both earthly life and the journey to the afterlife. The rustle of a finely made wig, the sheen of oiled hair, and the subtle scent of unguents would have been pervasive elements of the ancient Egyptian aesthetic, creating a visual and olfactory tapestry of gentle, deliberate self-adornment. Let us now gently immerse ourselves in the fragrant world of ancient Egyptian perfumery, an art form deeply interwoven with their daily lives, religious rituals, and profound understanding of well-being. Imagine the warm air of Egypt, heavy with the subtle, comforting scents of fragrant oils, resins, and blossoms, a delicate symphony of aromas that permeated every aspect of their existence. Perfumes were not just about smelling good, they were medicinal, spiritual, and profoundly symbolic. The Egyptians were master perfumers, creating exquisite unguents, balms, and oils long before many other civilizations. Their primary method involved infusing oils with aromatic, but imagine the meticulous process. Delicate flowers like the blue lotus or white lily, aromatic resins such as frankincense and myrrh, or fragrant woods like cedar, carefully collected and then steeped in a base oil. often moringa or castor oil. This process, known as enfleurage or maceration, allowed the oils to absorb the precious essences of the plants over time, creating richly scented concoctions. Imagine the patient wait as the oils slowly transformed, imbued with the very essence of nature's most fragrant offerings. These scented oils were used universally by men and women across all social strata, though the quality and rarity of the ingredients would naturally vary. For the elite, the perfumes were incredibly sophisticated and expensive, often incorporating exotic ingredients sourced from distant lands. Imagine the subtle, lingering scent of a noble woman as she moved, a personal cloud of carefully blended aromas that spoke of wealth and refinement. One of the most famous Egyptian perfumes was kifi. This wasn't a liquid perfume in the modern sense, but a complex, resinous incense, often burned at night to induce restful sleep and pleasant dreams. Imagine the calming aroma of kifi, gently wafting through a bedchamber as evening settled. A blend that could include frankincense, myrrh, mastic, pine resin, cinnamon, cassia, juniper berries, and even wine and honey. The exact recipe varied, but the intention was always to create a deeply soothing and spiritually uplifting fragrance. Burning kifi was not merely about scent. It was a ritual of purification and relaxation, preparing the mind and body for the peaceful embrace of slumber. Beyond personal adornment, perfumes played a crucial role in religious ceremonies and temple rituals. Imagine priests carefully applying fragrant oils to the statues of gods, or burning rich incenses during prayers and processions. These aromas were believed to please the deities, purify sacred spaces, and facilitate communication between the mortal and divine realms. Frankincense and myrrh, imported at great expense from Pun, were particularly revered for their sacred associations and their captivating, earthy aromas. Imagine the dense, sweet, and smoky air within a temple, a sensory experience designed to elevate the spirit. The use of perfumed unguent cones, especially at banquets and festivals, offers a fascinating glimpse into their social rituals. Imagine guests arriving at a feast with these conical, solid masses of perfumed fat placed on top of their wigs or natural hair. As the evening progressed, and the warmth of the room and body heat caused the cones to slowly melt, the fragrant oils would gently drip down over the hair and shoulders, continuously releasing a subtle aroma. This created a pleasant, pervasive scent around each individual, a living, diffusing perfume. Imagine the soft sheen it would leave on hair, adding to the visual appeal. Storage of these precious scents was also an art in itself. Perfumes were kept in beautifully crafted cosmetic jars and alabaster vessels, often exquisitely decorated. Imagine holding a small, smooth alabaster jar, its cool surface protecting the precious contents within. These containers were designed not only for beauty, but also to preserve the volatile essences of the perfumes, preventing them from evaporating too quickly. The Egyptians' understanding of scent went beyond mere pleasure. They recognized the medicinal properties of many aromatic plants. Frankincense and myrrh, for example, possess antiseptic and anti-inflammatory qualities. Other plant extracts used in perfumes might have been believed to ward off illness or promote healing. Thus, wearing perfume was also seen as a form of protective well-being, a fragrant shield against unseen ailments. This profound appreciation for scent, integrating it into hygiene, spirituality, and social life, highlights the Egyptians' comprehensive approach to beauty. Their perfumes were not fleeting fashionable accessories, but deeply meaningful concoctions, designed to soothe, purify, protect, and connect them with the divine. So, as you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine the subtle, ancient scents of Egypt, gently calming your senses. A testament to a civilization that truly understood the power of fragrance to enhance life's quiet moments. From the realm of captivating scents, let us now shift our attention to another essential aspect of ancient Egyptian beauty and hygiene: meticulous body care and the pervasive practice of hair removal. Imagine a culture where smooth, unblemished skin was not merely an aesthetic preference, but a deeply ingrained symbol of purity. In the hot, dusty climate of Egypt, maintaining a hairless body was also a practical measure against parasites and discomfort. This dedication to smooth skin reveals a fascinating insight into their daily routines and their understanding of bodily perfection. Hair removal was a widespread practice in ancient Egypt, embraced by both men and women, across all social classes. Imagine the daily ritual of removing unwanted hair from various parts of the body, a practice that would seem quite modern in its intent. The Egyptians employed a variety of methods, some surprisingly sophisticated for their time. One of the most common methods was shaving. Archaeological finds have revealed numerous razors crafted from bronze, copper, or even flint in earlier periods. These implements, though not as sharp as modern steel razors, were skillfully made and kept meticulously honed. Imagine the careful, precise strokes as they shaved legs, arms, and even the scalp. For many, especially priests, shaving the entire body, including the head, was a religious requirement to ensure ritual purity. Imagine the smooth, gleaming skin, seen as a sign of dedication and cleanliness. Beyond shaving, depilatory creams and pastes were also used. These concoctions were made from natural ingredients, often including substances like arsenic, quicklime, or even bird bones, mixed with starch or oil to form a thick paste. Imagine applying such a paste, allowing it to sit for a short period before it was rubbed off, ideally taking the hair with it. While some of these ingredients might sound harsh by modern standards, the Egyptians were skilled at formulating them to be effective, if not always entirely gentle. This method would have provided a longer-lasting smoothness than shaving. Another fascinating method that predates modern waxing or sugaring was likely used, involving sticky substances. Historical evidence suggests the use of honey or plant resins mixed with oils, applied to the skin and then swiftly pulled off, much like modern depilatory strips. Imagine the brief sting, followed by the satisfying smoothness of hairless skin. This would have been particularly effective for larger areas of the body. Once the hair was removed, maintaining smooth and supple skin was paramount. As we discussed in skincare, moisturizing was crucial. Rich oils like moringa, castor, or even sesame oil were massaged generously into the skin to prevent dryness, soothe any irritation from hair removal, and impart a healthy glow. Imagine the feeling of these warm, fragrant oils being worked into your skin, leaving it soft and protected. Beyond depilation, general body care involved meticulous cleansing. Regular bathing, often in the Nile or in homes with rudimentary bathing facilities, was essential. Natron, again, played a role here, used as a cleansing agent to purify the body. Imagine the refreshing sensation of a cool bath after a long, hot day in the desert, washing away the dust and grime. To further enhance the skin's appearance, and for ritual perfumes and fragrant oils were liberally applied after bathing and deep. This not only added a pleasant scent, but also helped to keep the skin moisturized and supple. Imagine the subtle, aromatic mist that would surround an Egyptian after their comprehensive body care routine. A blend of clean skin and fragrant oils. The emphasis on hairlessness extended to most parts of the body, contributing to the idealized appearance depicted in Egyptian art. Smooth, elongated limbs and unblemished skin were considered highly attractive and indicative of youth and vitality. This wasn't just a passing fashion, it was a deeply ingrained cultural norm, a visual expression of their values of purity, order, and physical perfection. Even for the deceased, meticulous body care continued. Mummification rituals involved not only preserving the body, but also often depilating it and anointing it with fragrant oils and resin, ensuring that the deceased would enter the afterlife in a state of pristine beauty and ritual purity. This shows the profound belief that the body, in its perfected state, was essential for eternal existence. So, the ancient Egyptians' dedication to body care and hair removal was a testament to their comprehensive approach to beauty and well-being. It was driven by practical needs in a challenging environment, deeply held spiritual beliefs about purity, and a strong aesthetic preference for smooth, clean skin. This meticulous attention to the physical form ensured comfort in life and prepared the body for its journey into the serene beauty of the afterlife. A truly holistic vision of from the smooth canvas of their skin. Let us now gently shift our focus to an often overlooked, yet immensely practical, aspect of ancient Egyptian beauty and hygiene: their dedication to dental care and maintaining fresh breath. Imagine a world without toothbrushes, toothpaste, or modern dentistry, where the diet often included gritty bread that could wear down teeth. Yet, the Egyptians understood the importance of oral health, not just for comfort and function, but also as an integral part of their overall cleanliness and personal presentation. This meticulousness in oral hygiene reflects their comprehensive approach to what the ancient Egyptians were surprisingly advanced in their understanding of dental issues. Archaeological evidence from mummies has revealed signs of tooth decay, abscesses, and gum disease, indicating that they faced many of the same oral health challenges we do today. What's remarkable is their attempts to address these problems. Hieroglyphic texts and medical papyri, such as the Ebers, contain recipes for dental remedies, including pain relief for toothaches, and instructions for treating gum inflammation. Imagine the careful preparation of these ancient herbal mixtures, designed to soothe discomfort and combat infection. Their daily oral hygiene routine, while simple, was remarkably effective. The most common method of cleaning teeth involved using frayed sticks. Imagine a small branch or twig, the end of which was chewed until the fibers separated, creating a brush-like texture. These natural toothbrushes would then be used to gently rub and clean the surfaces of the teeth and gums, helping to remove food particles and plaque. This was a daily ritual, perhaps performed after meals or as part of the morning cleansing routine. Imagine the slightly woody taste, the gentle abrasion, as they meticulously cared for their mouths. To further aid in oral cleanliness and to combat bad breath, they developed early forms of toothpaste, or tooth powder. These concoctions were made from a variety of abrasive and aromatic ingredients. Imagine a mixture of crushed rock salt, mint, dried iris flowers, and pepper. These ingredients were ground into a fine powder and then mixed with a little water to form a paste, or simply applied directly to the teeth with a finger or a frayed stick. The salt would have provided an abrasive action, helping to scrub away stains and plaque. Mint and iris flowers would have contributed to a fresher scent, and pepper might have provided a stimulating, cleansing sensation. Imagine the surprisingly strong, fresh taste, a sharp contrast to common oral odors beyond daily brushing. The Egyptians also employed These were typically made from natural ingredients with antiseptic and aromatic properties. Honey, known for its antibacterial qualities, might have been dissolved in water and used as a rinse. Various herbs with strong, fresh scents, such as frankincense or myrrh, could also have been steeped in water to create fragrant gargles. Imagine the soothing, cleansing rinse, leaving the mouth feeling refreshed and clean. The social implications of fresh breath were significant. In a society that valued purity and cleanliness so highly, bad breath would have been considered unpleasant and indicative of poor hygiene. For those interacting with others, especially in formal settings or at court, a pleasant breath would have been essential for personal presentation and social acceptance. Imagine the subtle confidence that came with knowing your breath was clean and sweet. For those suffering from persistent bad breath, beyond regular cleaning, they also had breath mints or recipes found in ancient texts describe concoctions made from frankincense, myrrh, cinnamon, and other fragrant spices, often bound together with honey. These would be rolled into small pellets and consumed. Imagine the gentle sweetness of the honey, followed by the invigorating burst of spices, masking any lingering odors. This was their ancient solution to a pervasive problem, allowing them to engage in close conversations without embarrassment. The care for teeth also extended to attempts at restorative dentistry. Though rudimentary by modern standards, archaeological discoveries have shown instances of teeth being wired together with gold thread to stabilize them, or even primitive fillings for cavities, using materials like resin or malachite. While these were not common, they demonstrate a remarkable understanding of the need for intervention when oral health deteriorated. So, the ancient Egyptians' commitment to dental hygiene and fresh breath was a quiet, yet incredibly important, facet of their broader beauty and wellness philosophy. It was a daily ritual of purification that contributed not only to physical comfort and social confidence, but also to their spiritual ideal of presenting a clean and perfected self. In a world without our modern conveniences, their ingenuity in oral care stands as a testament to their deep-seated desire for holistic well-being, ensuring that even their breath carried a sense of purity and serenity. Let's now gently glide down to the extremity, to the meticulous attention the ancient Egyptians paid to their hands and feet, specifically focusing on nail care and coloration. Imagine a culture where every detail of the body, right down to the fingertips and toes, was considered a canvas for adornment, a reflection of hygiene, and sometimes a subtle indicator of social status. This dedication to manicures and pedicures, often involving vibrant colors, offers another quiet insight into their comprehensive approach to beauty. Cleanliness was, as always, paramount. Before any application of color or oil, the nails would have been thoroughly cleaned. Imagine the gentle scraping with small, pointed tools, perhaps made of bronze or wood, to remove dirt and debris from under the nails. Cuticles would have been pushed back and tidied, ensuring a neat and well-maintained appearance. This was a basic step in hygiene, essential for preventing infections and presenting a polished look. Once clean, the nails were often smoothed and buffed. While they didn't have modern emery boards, finely abrasive stones or even rough linen cloths might have been used to gently shape the nails and create a smooth surface. Imagine the careful, methodical motions, working to achieve a uniform and pleasing shape. The goal was likely not a sharp, pointed nail, but a neat, rounded, and healthy-looking one. The most striking aspect of Egyptian nail care was the use of color. Henna, the natural dye derived from the Lawsonia inermis plant, was widely employed to stain nails, much as it was used for hair. Imagine the rich, earthy scent of henna paste as it was applied to the nail beds. When left on for a period and then washed off, it would leave a beautiful reddish-brown or orange stain, a natural and enduring color. This wasn't merely paint, it dyed the actual keratin of the nail, making it long. Henna was accessible to various social classes, making colored nails a common sight throughout Egyptian society, though the intensity and depth of color might vary with the quality of the henna. For those of higher status, and particularly for royalty, more vibrant and exclusive colors might have been used, perhaps derived from rare mineral pigments mixed with the binder. Red was a highly favored color, often associated with life and vitality. Imagine the deep, rich crimson on a pharaoh's nails, a color that would have subtly stood out against the backdrop of their opulent clothing and jewelry. The more prominent and darker the red, the higher the status of the individual. This wasn't always about bright, flamboyant shades, but often about subtle, deep tones that conveyed an understated elegance and power. The nails of pharaohs and queens, in particular, received meticulous attention. Royal manicurists and pedicurists were specialized professionals, dedicated to the care of the monarch's hands and feet. Imagine the steady hands of these skilled individuals, carefully tending to every nail, ensuring perfection for the divine ruler. Some pharaohs were even buried with their nail care tools, emphasizing the importance of these rituals for the afterlife. The practice extended to both fingers and toes. Imagine the well-groomed appearance of feet, particularly important in a warm climate where sandals were common for the feet. Like the hands, were cleaned, often massaged with fragrant oils, and then had their nails carefully treated and colored. This holistic attention to the entire body, from head to toe, underscores the Egyptian ideal of a completely presented, perfected self. Beyond aesthetics, there were practical considerations. Clean and well-maintained nails were less prone to breakage and infection. The application of oils during the manicure-pedicure process would have helped keep the cuticles soft and moist, preventing painful hangnails and cracks. So, while beautiful, these practices also contributed to overall hand and foot health, essential for daily life and labor. The symbolic meaning of colored nails, especially red, also tied into their religious beliefs. Red was a color associated with protection against evil and with the life-giving force of the sun. Thus, coloring the nails could also be seen as a small act of personal protection, a subtle invocation of divine blessings. So, the quiet rituals of ancient Egyptian nail care, from cleansing and shaping to the vibrant application of henna, offer another window into their world. They reveal a society that understood the nuances of personal presentation, where beauty was not confined to grand gestures but extended to the minutiae of daily. It was a gentle, methodical process that contributed to their overall sense of well-being, ensuring that every part of the body was cared for and presented in its ideal form, suitable for both earthly life and the serene journey into eternity. Now, let us ascend to the very pinnacle of ancient Egyptian beauty, focusing on the incredibly elaborate and refined rituals reserved for the pharaohs and queens. Imagine the serene chambers within magnificent palaces and temples, where the most exquisite ingredients and skilled artisans converged to ensure the divine ruler embodied ultimate perfection. These royal beauty routines were not merely about personal vanity. They were deeply imbued with spiritual significance, political power, and the symbolic representation of cosmic order. For pharaohs and queens, beauty was an intrinsic part of their divine identity. They were considered living gods or goddesses, and their physical appearance had to reflect this sacred status. Every aspect of their grooming was meticulously planned and executed, transforming them into living embodiments of beauty, vitality, and purity. Imagine the quiet precision of skilled attendants, working diligently to prepare the monarch for their daily duties or grand ceremonies. Their skincare regimens, already comprehensive for the elite, reached unparalleled levels of luxury for royalty. Imagine rare and precious oils, perhaps imported from distant lands, infused with the most exotic and fragrant blossoms. These oils, like bombs of frankincense, would have been massaged into their skin, not just for hydration, but for their perceived rejuvenating and purifying properties. Masks made from the finest honey, enriched with pulverized gemstones like lapis lazuli or malachite, might have been applied to impart a subtle glow and signify divine connection. Imagine the cool, smooth touch of such a rich mask, leaving the skin feeling ethereal. The application of kohl for royal eyes was particularly significant. Not only was it applied with utmost precision, creating that iconic, elongated line, but the kohl itself might have been of the purest, most finely ground galena, perhaps even containing flecks of shimmering minerals to enhance its allure. Imagine the pharaoh's gaze, enhanced by this dark, striking outline, conveying authority, wisdom, and a connection to the protective powers of Horus. Hair care for royalty was dominated by exquisite wigs. These were masterpieces of craftsmanship, often intricately braided and styled, adorned with gold, precious jewels, and even real feathers. Imagine a queen's wig, cascading down her shoulders, each braid meticulously woven, glistening with gilded strands and adorned with delicate lotus blossoms crafted from gold. These wigs were incredibly heavy and complex, worn for state occasions and ceremonies, signifying immense wealth and power. They would have been constantly tended to by specialized royal wig. Perfumery reached its zenith in the royal court. Pharaohs and queens would have had access to the rarest and most expensive aromatic resins and oils. Imagine special blends created exclusively for them, unique scents that identified their divine presence. The famous Kifi incense would have been burned in their private chambers, filling the air with soothing aromas for relaxation and spiritual contemplation. Perfumed unguent cones, larger and more potent, might have been worn on their elaborate wigs during banquets, ensuring a continuous aura of divine fragrance. Imagine this subtle, yet powerful, olfactory signature that would announce the monarch's presence. Body care, including depilation, was also carried out with extreme diligence. Royal bodies were kept impeccably smooth and blemish-free, symbolizing their ritual purity. Imagine the painstaking process of hair removal, followed by anointing with the richest, most fragrant oils, ensuring every inch of their divine form was even their nails, meticulously manicured and would have been stained with the deepest, most vibrant shades of red henna, a color denoting power and vitality. The royal beauty rituals were often intertwined with elaborate bathing ceremonies. Imagine baths infused with fragrant flower petals and essential oils, designed not just for cleansing, but for relaxation and spiritual purification. These were not quick dips, but prolonged, meditative experiences, preparing the monarch for the rigors of their divine duties. Every cosmetic tool and container used by royalty was a work of art in itself. Imagine gold-handled razors, alabaster cosmetic jars carved with intricate hieroglyphs, or pallets for grinding coal made from precious stones. These artifacts, found in royal tombs, speak volumes about the value placed on these rituals and the sacredness attached to the monarch's physical appearance. Ultimately, royal beauty in ancient Egypt was a profound expression of their cosmic beliefs. The pharaoh was the intermediary between the gods and humanity, and their physical perfection was a necessary reflection of the divine order they maintained. Their beauty was not for human admiration alone, but for the gods. It was a serene, continuous act of devotion, ensuring that the ruler was always prepared to embody the ideal of Mat, bringing balance and harmony to their land. As you drift deeper, picture the silent, regal majesty of a pharaoh, perfectly adorned, a living statue of divine beauty, timeless and serene. Now, let's gently explore a subtle yet significant aspect of ancient Egyptian beauty practices: the nuanced differences, or sometimes surprising similarities, in grooming routines between men and women. Imagine a society where beauty and adornment were not exclusive to one gender, but where both sexes engaged in meticulous, each with their own emphasis and cultural expectations. This shared dedication to beauty underscores the pervasive nature of hygiene and aesthetics in their civilization. One of the most striking features of ancient Egyptian beauty is the universality of practices, like kohl application and elaborate wig. Both men and women adorned their eyes with dark kohl, creating that distinctive, elongated shape. Imagine seeing frescoes depicting both male pharaohs and female queens with equally striking eye makeup, signaling protection from the sun and a connection to divine power, regardless of gender. The purpose, both aesthetic and protective, transcended traditional gender roles, making eye makeup a shared symbol of vitality and spiritual alignment. Similarly, hair removal was a widespread practice for both men and women. As we've discussed, smooth, Hairless skin was considered a sign of cleanliness and youth. Male priests, in particular, maintained completely shaven bodies for ritual purity. But even beyond religious dictates, many men, like women, regularly shaved their heads and body. Imagine both genders achieving that characteristic sleekness, a testament to their shared commitment to hygiene in the hot climate. This was not a practice confined to one sex. It was a cultural norm for all who could afford the tools and time. Wigs, too, were worn by both men and women. While the styles might differ, men often favored shorter, more geometric bobs, while women might wear longer, more flowing styles. The principle of wearing elaborate, crafted hair was universal. Imagine walking through an ancient Egyptian market and seeing both men and women sporting meticulously styled wigs, each a statement of their social standing and fashion sense. The practicality of wigs for hygiene and sun protection appealed to everyone, making them an indispensable part of daily wear for the elite. Where we begin to see more distinct gender differences lies in certain cosmetic applications and, perhaps, the overall emphasis placed on certain aspects. For instance, while both genders used perfumed oils and unguents for skin hydration and fragrance, women might have used a wider variety of more floral or sweeter scents, or applied them more liberally as a social custom. Men, while certainly enjoying pleasant aromas, might have leaned towards more earthy or resinous scents, or used them primarily for their protective and medicinal qualities. Imagine a subtle difference in the air, a slightly richer floral note clinging to a woman's robes, while a man might carry the fainter scent of body painting and ornamentation. Beyond Coal also showed some gender distinctions. While men might have used reddish ochre on their skin for practical sun protection, women sometimes applied lighter, more luminous pigments to their faces and bodies, possibly derived from white lead or chalk, to achieve a fairer complexion, which was often associated with high status or indoor living. Imagine a woman with subtly brightened skin, contrasting with the warm, tanned tones of men. Jewelry, while worn by both genders in abundance, also featured some typical gender preferences in style and scale. Men often wore broad collars, pectorals, and bracelets that emphasized strength and status. Women, while also wearing these, might have favored more delicate necklaces and intricate hair ornaments that highlighted their elegance and grace. Imagine a glint of gold and lapis lazuli on both, yet with a subtle variation in how these treasures adorned their bodies. The focus on fertility and the celebration of the female form were also uniquely feminine aspects of beauty. Statuettes of women with accentuated hips and breasts, often adorned with simple jewelry, suggest an appreciation for the reproductive capacity of women. This wasn't necessarily about overtly sexual display, but rather about celebrating the life-giving power of the female body, often linked to goddesses like Isis or Hathor. Ultimately, the ancient Egyptian approach to beauty was remarkably inclusive for its time. It wasn't about imposing rigid standards that excluded one gender. Rather, it was about providing a range of practices that allowed both men and women to achieve an ideal of health, cleanliness, and aesthetic perfection. Each ritual, from the daily cleanse to the elaborate adornment, contributed to a sense of well-being and a prepared state for both earthly existence and the journey into the afterlife. So, as you drift deeper, consider this ancient world where beauty was a shared pursuit, a gentle rhythm of self-care embraced by everyone. Having explored the universal and gendered aspects of ancient Egyptian beauty, let's now gently consider the fascinating array of tools and containers they meticulously crafted to support their elaborate routines. Imagine a dressing table in an ancient Egyptian home, not cluttered with plastic bottles, but adorned with exquisitely designed objects made from natural materials. Each piece, a small work of art, reflecting the value placed on the contents it held and the rituals it facilitated. These tools and vessels were not merely functional, they were beautiful, durable, and often imbued with symbolic meaning. One of the most iconic categories of containers was the cosmetic jar, designed to hold coal, perfumed oils, bombs, and these jars were fashioned from a remarkable variety of materials. Imagine smooth, cool alabaster, carved with elegant, elongated forms, its translucent quality hinting at the precious contents within. Or perhaps jars made from vibrant faience, a glazed ceramic material unique to Egypt, often in brilliant shades of turquoise or blue, mimicking the hues of the Nile and the sky. Glass, too, particularly in later periods, was skillfully worked into intricate patterns and colors, creating small, jewel-like vessels. Imagine the delicate artistry, the painstaking detail that went into crafting each of these containers, ensuring they were not only airtight, but also beautiful to behold. Many of these cosmetic jars featured small, tightly fitting lids to prevent evaporation and contamination of the precious oils and pastes. Imagine the satisfying click as a lid was gently placed, sealing in the delicate aromas of lotus or myrrh. Some jars had long, slender necks, perfect for dispensing thin streams of oil, while others were wider, designed to allow easy access for thicker bombs or powders. For the application of coal, specialized tools were essential. We've mentioned a coal stick, often a slender rod made from ivory, bone, wood, or bronze. Imagine its smooth texture, sometimes adorned with decorative carvings, or even topped with a small, stylized animal head, perhaps a cat or an ibis. These sticks were precisely shaped to pick up the finely ground coal and apply it with precision to the delicate eye area. Alongside the stick, pallets were indispensable. These were typically small, flat stones, often made of schist or slate, with a circular depression where the coal minerals would be ground and mixed with oil. Imagine the rhythmic sound of a pebble grinding against the stone pallet, slowly transforming rough mineral into fine, dark powder. Some pallets were simple and utilitarian, while royal palettes could be elaborate, carved with intricate animal motifs or scenes. For hair care, combs were ubiquitous. Imagine combs crafted from wood, bone, or ivory, with finely spaced teeth designed to detangle and smooth both natural hair and elaborate wigs. Some combs were done with wider teeth on one side for initial detangling and finer teeth on the other for meticulous grooming. Beyond combs, hairpins and bodkins, made from bone, wood, or metal, were used to secure elaborate hairstyles and wigs, sometimes adorned with beads or carved figures. For shaving and depilation, the Egyptians developed surprisingly effective razors. Imagine a small, crescent-shaped blade made from highly polished bronze or copper, kept remarkably sharp. These razors, often with a handle for easy grip, would have required significant skill and a steady hand to use effectively for body hair removal. Tweezers, often made of bronze, were also used for more precise hair removal. Imagine the delicate plucking, ensuring every strand was removed for that ideal smooth skin. For general body care, various sponges made from natural fibers or porous rock, and linen cloths would have been used for bathing and cleansing. Imagine the gentle exfoliation provided by these natural materials, aiding in their meticulous daily hygiene. Even simple tools like spatulas for scooping out creams, or small spoons for transferring powdered pigments, were often beautifully designed. Imagine tiny spoons made from ivory or wood, with delicate handles, designed for hygienic and precise application of cosmetics. The craftsmanship evident in these beauty tools and containers speaks volumes about the Egyptian reverence for. They understood that the instruments themselves could elevate the ritual, making the daily routine not just functional but also aesthetically pleasing. Imagine the tactile sensation of these ancient objects: cool stone, smooth wood, gleaming metal, each one a silent testament to a civilization that understood the art of living beautifully, inside and out. These quiet, personal items, often found among grave goods, remind us that even in their preparations for eternity, the Egyptians brought a profound sense of artistry and meticulousness to their personal adornment. Let's now consider a fascinating, often overlooked aspect of ancient Egyptian beauty: the intricate web of sourcing and trade that brought their cherished ingredients from distant lands and local mines to the elaborate cosmetic palettes and coal pots. Imagine a world without global supply chains as we know them, where every exotic pigment, every rare resin, and every fragrant oil represented a remarkable journey across deserts, rivers, and sometimes even seas. This complex network highlights the profound value they placed on their beauty rituals, seeing them as worth the immense effort and expense. Many of the foundational ingredients for Egyptian beauty were, of course, locally sourced from the abundant resources of the Nile Valley and the surrounding deserts. Natron, crucial for cleansing and mummification, was readily available from dry lakebeds in places like Wadi. Clays and ochres, used for skin pigments and masks, could be found in various shades within the fertile Nile floodplains and the Red Land. Imagine the simple yet effective process of collecting these earthy pigments, then grinding them finely for cosmetic use. However, the truly prized and luxurious beauty ingredients often came from far beyond Egypt's borders, necessitating complex trade routes. The most famous example is frankincense and myrrh. These are aromatic resins, essential for perfumes, incenses, and medicinal balms. were primarily sourced from the southern Arabian Peninsula and the Horn of Africa, a region the Egyptians referred to as Punt. Imagine the long, arduous journeys across vast deserts, laden caravans of camels and donkeys carrying these precious, fragrant tiers of trees back to Egypt. Or perhaps, visualize the specialized ships sailing down the Red Sea, braving unknown waters to bring back these coveted aromatic treasures. The acquisition of frankincense and myrrh was so important that pharaohs like Hatshepsut organized grand expeditions to Punt, a testament to their value. Another vital important ingredient for their iconic eye makeup was galena, the lead ore that formed the basis of their black coal. While some galena could be found in the eastern desert of Egypt, higher quality and more abundant sources were often found in places like present-day Sudan or even further afield. Imagine mining expeditions deep into arid mountain, extracting the dark, metallic ore, which would then be painstakingly transported back to the workshops of Egyptian cosmetic artisans. Malachite, the green copper, or sometimes used for green eye paint, was primarily mined in the Sinai Peninsula. Imagine the hot, dusty conditions of these ancient mines, where laborers extracted the vibrant green stone, which would then be pulverized into the fine pigment. This too required organized expeditions and secure transport to bring the raw material back to the Nile Valley. Precious stones, used to adorn cosmetic containers or even integrated into some cosmetic mixtures, often came from distant quarries. Lapis lazuli, with its deep celestial blue, was imported from Afghanistan, a truly astonishing journey for a mineral in the ancient world. Imagine the intricate trade networks that stretched across thousands of miles, connecting the workshops of Egypt with the remote mines of Central Asia. Turquoise was sourced from the Sinai, and amethyst from the eastern desert, each requiring specialized mining operations and careful transport. Even certain oils might have been imported if local production was insufficient, or if a particular type was desired. Olive oil, though grown in Egypt, was also imported from the Levant. Sesame oil, another versatile base, might have come from the Near East. Imagine the large amphorae sealed and carefully transported, containing these liquid gold essences, arriving at Egyptian ports after long voyages. The complex trade routes weren't just for luxury goods. They supported the entire infrastructure of Egyptian life, including its beauty industry. These networks involved skilled merchants, navigators, and caravan leaders, all working to bring these precious materials to the hands of the cosmetic makers and, ultimately, to the bodies of the Egyptians. The fact that the Egyptians went to such lengths to acquire these ingredients underscores the profound importance of beauty, hygiene, and ritual purity in their culture. It wasn't about convenience. It was about quality, authenticity, and spiritual connection. Each foreign substance brought into Egypt for beauty purposes carried with it a sense of exoticism and divine favor. Imagine the quiet satisfaction of using a cosmetic made from ingredients that had journeyed across vast and dangerous landscapes, a testament to the dedication to one's appearance and well-being. This globalized approach to beauty, even in the ancient world, offers a fascinating glimpse into their priorities and the sophisticated reach of their civilization. Having explored the earthly aspects of ancient Egyptian beauty, let us now gently transition to its most profound and eternal dimension, its intimate connection with the afterlife, and the meticulous rituals of mummification. Imagine a civilization so deeply invested in the continuity of existence that they believed physical perfection and purity in this life were essential prerequisites for a serene and prosperous journey into the next. Beauty in ancient Egypt was not just for the living. It was a preparation for eternity. The very concept of the afterlife for the Egyptians revolved around the preservation of the physical body. They believed that the Ka'aba needed a physical vessel to return to after death. Without an intact body, the journey through the underworld, and indeed, eternal existence, would be impossible. Mummification was, therefore, the ultimate beauty secret. An elaborate ritual spanning 70 days, designed to preserve the body in as lifelike and perfected a state as possible. Imagine the specialized embalmers, priests dedicated to this sacred art, meticulously cleansing and purifying the deceased. The first step involved removing the internal organs, which were carefully preserved separately in canopic jars. Then, the body cavity was packed with natron salt, a powerful desiccant, to draw out all moisture. Imagine the dry, clean feeling of the natron, slowly and gently preserving the flesh over many weeks. This desiccation was crucial to prevent decomposition, ensuring the body remained intact for its eternal journey. But mummification went far beyond mere preservation. It was also an elaborate process of rebeautification and anointing, aiming to restore the deceased to an idealized state of youthful vitality. After the body was thoroughly dried, it was cleansed again and often stuffed with linen, sawdust, or other materials to restore its natural contours and make it appear plump and lifelike. Imagine the careful reshaping, ensuring the body looked serene and complete, as if merely sleeping. Then came the application of fragrant oils and resins, many of the same luxurious ingredients used in life. Imagine the rich, warm scent of frankincense, myrrh, and cedar oil being lovingly massaged into the mummified skin. These unguents not only helped to further preserve the skin and make it supple, but also imbued the body with sacred aromas, preparing it ritually for the divine presence. This was a final act of perfuming, ensuring the deceased smelled sweet and pure for their encounter with the gods. The face, in particular, received meticulous attention. Features were often carefully painted to resemble the living person. Imagine kohl being applied around the eyes, not just to mimic the appearance of life, but to symbolically bestow the protective gaze of Horus upon the deceased, guiding them safely through the underworld. Red ochre might have been applied to the lips and cheeks, restoring a semblance of vitality and a healthy glow. Even the nails, often wrapped in strips of linen, might have been stained with henna, just as they were in life. A final touch of personal adornment for eternity. Hair, whether natural or a wig, was also meticulously prepared. If the natural hair was preserved, it would be carefully styled and sometimes even dyed. If a wig was to be placed on the mummy, it would be a pristine, elaborate piece, ensuring the deceased entered the afterlife with a perfect crown. Imagine the serene face of the mummy, adorned with the very same cosmetics and hair treatments they cherished in life, a perfected image for the divine realm. The wrapping process itself was an art form. Layers upon layers of fine linen bandages, often impregnated with resin, were meticulously wound around the body. Imagine the gentle, rhythmic process of wrapping, each layer a protective cocoon designed to secure the body and its eternal beauty. Amulets and protective charms were placed between the layers of band, not just for magic, but also to physically protect the preserved form. The entire ritual of mummification was a powerful testament to the Egyptian belief that beauty and physical integrity were not ephemeral but eternal. It reflected their profound understanding that the body was a sacred vessel, deserving of the utmost care and reverence, even in death. To enter the afterlife beautiful and pure was to ensure a peaceful existence among the gods. So, as you drift deeper into tranquility, consider this: ancient civilization's quiet dedication to eternal beauty, a meticulous journey that bridged the earthly realm with the serene promise of forever. From the meticulous rituals of mummification, let us now gently broaden our perspective to understand how beauty, in all its forms, deeply permeated the social fabric of ancient Egypt. Imagine a society where personal adornment was not just about individual preference, but a silent language, communicating status, identity, and even one's role within the intricate hierarchy of the Nile Valley. Beauty was a social implication, a visible marker in a world that valued order and clear distinctions. Firstly, beauty was a powerful indicator of social status and wealth. The more access an individual had to rare and expensive ingredients, the more sophisticated their tools, and the more elaborate their routines, the higher their standing in society was evident. Imagine a peasant with simply applied kohl, and perhaps basic oiled skin, contrasted with a wealthy noble whose skin gleamed with imported frankincense oil, whose wig was adorned with gold beads, and whose nails were stained with vibrant, dark henna. These visual cues immediately conveyed their place in the social hierarchy. The quality of cosmetic containers, from simple clay pots to exquisite alabaster or faience vessels, also silently announced one's economic standing. For the elite, displaying beauty was also a demonstration of leisure and the ability to afford a retinue of servants. Imagine the hours spent in preparation, the careful application of layers of makeup, oils, and the intricate styling of wigs. This time-consuming process was a luxury that only the wealthy could afford, as it required others to perform the daily labor. Thus, being exquisitely groomed was a silent testament to one's freedom from manual labor and access to a dedicated staff. Beyond wealth, beauty rituals also conveyed identity. Certain professions or roles might have had specific grooming expectations. For instance, as mentioned, priests were often completely shaven to maintain ritual purity, marking them distinctly from others. Imagine the smooth, Gleaming heads of priests contrasted with the coiffed wigs of nobles or the natural hair of commoners. Even within families, there might have been subtle, shared beauty practices that signaled kinship or allegiance. Beauty was also deeply intertwined with gender identity, as we've explored, though with surprising fluidity compared to many other ancient cultures. The shared use of kohl and wigs by both men and women highlighted a collective aesthetic, yet subtle differences in preferred colors, wig styles, or the lavishness of perfumes still allowed for a distinct gender expression within a shared framework of beauty. Imagine the distinct yet complementary aesthetics of a beautifully adorned Egyptian couple, each presenting their perfected self according to their gender role. Furthermore, being well-groomed was a sign of respect, both for oneself and for others. In a society that valued mahat, cosmic order, and balance, personal cleanliness and presentation were seen as contributing to that harmony. Imagine entering a social gathering, knowing that your meticulous grooming conveyed respect for your hosts and for the occasion itself. To appear unkempt or dirty would have been perceived as disrespectful, a sign of disorder. The emphasis on beauty also reinforced cultural ideals. The idealized figures in Egyptian art, with their smooth skin, striking eyes, and perfect proportions, were not just artistic conventions. They were reflections of the cultural value placed on youthfulness, vitality, and health. By emulating these ideals through their beauty practices, individuals were participating in a collective affirmation of their cultural identity and shared aesthetic values. Even in death, beauty had social implications. The more elaborate the mummification and rebeautification process, the greater the status and wealth of the deceased. Imagine the serene, perfectly preserved face of a pharaoh, carefully made up with kohl and ochre, encased in layers of finely wrapped linen within a gilded coffin. This was a final, ultimate display of social standing, ensuring that their elevated position continued into the afterlife. The care taken with their eternal body was a testament to their earthly importance. So, the quiet, daily routines of beauty in ancient Egypt were far from superficial. They were profound social acts, communicating a wealth of information about an individual's status, identity, and adherence to cultural norms. Every application of kohl, every drop of scented oil, every intricately styled wig contributed to a silent yet powerful narrative, reinforcing the social order and the Egyptian understanding of what it meant to be an integrated member of their society. As you drift deeper into a peaceful slumber, consider the enduring significance of beauty in this ancient world, a testament to its role in shaping not just individuals, but an entire civilization. As our journey through the beauty secrets of ancient Egypt gently draws to a close, let us reflect on the lasting legacy of their practices, how their meticulous approach to self-care subtly echoed through subsequent civilizations and continues to resonate, even in our modern world. Imagine the quiet influence of a culture that placed such profound importance on hygiene, aesthetics, and the spiritual connection to the body, an influence that rippled outwards through time, shaping the very concept of beauty itself. One of the most obvious legacies is the enduring appeal of certain cosmetic ingredients and practices. Kohl, for instance, in various forms, has been used for eye adornment across many cultures for millennia, from ancient Mesopotamia and India to parts of the Middle East and Africa today. Its protective and aesthetic qualities, first mastered by the Egyptians, ensured its longevity. Imagine how the striking kattai, so characteristic of Egyptian art, indirectly inspired countless generations of eye makeup styles across diverse cultures. The Egyptian emphasis on perfumery also had a profound impact. Their sophisticated techniques for extracting and blending essential oils laid foundational knowledge that would be adopted and refined by later Greek, Roman, and eventually Arab perfumers. The very idea of using fragrant oils for personal adornment, for ritual, and for medicinal purposes finds strong roots in ancient Egypt. Imagine the subtle transmission of these aromatic traditions, carried by traders and travelers across the ancient world. Beyond specific products, the underlying philosophy of Egyptian beauty, where hygiene, health, and spiritual purity were inextricably linked, was remarkably influential. While not always explicitly acknowledged, the concept of a clean, well-maintained body as a reflection of inner virtue or social standing has permeated many subsequent cultures. The Roman baths, for example, while different in their social function, shared a common root in the desire for meticulous bodily cleansing and adornment. Imagine the gradual evolution of self-care practices, building upon the foundational principles established by the Egyptians. Even the concept of barbers and manicurists as specialized professionals can be traced back to ancient Egypt, where highly skilled individuals were dedicated to the grooming of the elite. This laid the groundwork for the professionalization of beauty services in later societies. Imagine the quiet pride of these ancient artisans, whose skills contributed to the elevated appearance of their clients. The art and iconography of Egyptian beauty have also left an indelible mark. The serene, idealized faces of Egyptian pharaohs and queens, with their perfectly kohl-rimmed eyes and elaborate wigs, continue to captivate and inspire. These images have shaped our collective understanding of ancient aesthetics and, through art and media, have subtly influenced modern fashion and beauty trends. Imagine the timeless elegance of Nefertiti's bust, still inspiring awe and admiration thousands of years later. Furthermore, the Egyptians' ingenious use of natural ingredients, from natron and various oils to henna and mineral pigments, serves as a timeless reminder of the power of nature and beauty. In an age increasingly turning back to natural and sustainable products, their ancient wisdom feels remarkably contemporary. Imagine their quiet understanding of the earth's bounty, transforming simple elements into powerful tools for well-being. In a broader sense, the Egyptian commitment to beauty is a holistic practice, integrating physical care with spiritual well-being, and a preparation for the unknown, offers a soothing perspective. It reminds us that self-care can be a deliberate, mindful ritual, a moment of peaceful communion with oneself, rather than just a fleeting pursuit of external perfection. Imagine their profound sense of purpose in these daily acts, each one contributing to a grander narrative of life and beyond. So, as we finally leave the ancient sands of Egypt, take with you the quiet whispers of their beauty secrets, the gentle cleansing with natron, the protective touch of kohl, the comforting scent of unguent oils, the meticulous care for every part of the body, and the profound connection between earthly beauty and eternal serenity. These practices were not just about vanity. They were about living well, respecting oneself, and preparing for a peaceful journey through life and into the serene embrace of the afterlife. May these ancient whispers bring you calm, and may your dreams be as peaceful as the gentle flow of the Nile under a starlit sky.